Footprints Without Feet by H. G. Wells. Herbert George Wells. Herbert George Wells was born on 21st September 1866 and expired on 13th August 1946. He was an English writer. He was prolific in many genres, writing dozens of novels, short stories, and works of social commentary, satire, biography, and autobiography, and even two books on recreational war games. Before we proceed, let us think, can a man become invisible? This is the story of a scientist who discovers how to make himself invisible. But does he use or misuse his discovery? Let's find out. Let's now hear the key points of the story. Griffin, a scientist, discovers a rare drug which makes a person invisible. His landlord dislikes him. Griffin wants to revenge on him. He swallows the drug and puts the house on fire. He puts off clothes, becomes invisible, and runs away. It was cold weather and he felt the need of clothes. So he slips inside a cloth store, had meal, and slept at night. And the story proceeds. Two attendants chase him in the morning. He was again homeless and clothesless. He loots a shopkeeper of a theatrical company and catches a train to Iping village to live in a village. The money of loot doesn't last long. He steals money from the clergyman's desk to pay rent. Suspicion falls on the scientist when he pays the rent. Mrs. Hall finds the room of the scientist open. She wants to look into the room. A hat springs up and hits on her face. Then the chair of the room becomes alive and forces Mr. and Mrs. Hall out of the room. Suddenly, Griffin appears from nowhere. When Mr. and Mrs. Hall inquire about the theft, Griffin gets angry. He removes the bandages and his nose falls. Now he was headless. The constable is called to arrest the headless man, but he is wounded by the invisible scientist. The message of the story. The story Footprints Without Feet describes the story of a brilliant scientist, Griffin, who degenerated himself into a lawless person. The lesson gives a message that misuse of science and its great discoveries can make even a brilliant scientist like Griffin a monster and a threatening, lawless person.